I feel like it's kind of a running theme that whenever I'm doing these plan with me videos, the week that I'm in never has the doodles up to date. I know it's supposed to be a doodle a day, but I am really bad at sticking to that. Hello again team, it's Jess or JashiiCorrin, and today I'm going to be setting up for the week 21 of 2019, which is the 20th through to the 26th of May. Before we jump into setting that up though, we're going to have a look at how this week is going. From last week's Plan With Me video, you'll have remembered that I had this section here left open so that I could have a running to-do list, space for my daily doodles down the bottom, and then an events space up the top. Some slight changes that I've made since that video include the divisions that I've put down here. Although I was kind of eager to try something new and not have segregated boxes for each of my doodles, I decided that made me a little uncomfortable, so I went and put some dividing lines in. I also decided to put a dividing line through this running to-do list section, just so that I had 4 columns for tasks. Overall, I've been really enjoying this weekly actually. The majority of the stuff that I wrote down here in my running to-do list though, I actually wrote down on Monday. But it has given me a really good overview of the things that I want to get done this week. I know that my intention for this spread was to give myself a bit more space for each of my daily doodles, but after drawing the first one, I've decided that this is actually a bit too much space. So you'll remember from the week prior, I had these nice little small spaces, and I felt they were too small, so I made them bigger, and now I think they're too big. Going from this week to next week, I'm going to be keeping it pretty similar. I'm just going to be decreasing the amount of space I have down here, and then changing up some of the colouring that I've been using as well. Because I'm on a little bit of a time pinch today, I have already gone and drawn in some of the lines, but I'm going to go in now and roll the rest of those up using my Pit Artist pen. As usual, I'm also answering questions from last week's video, and our first question comes from Francesca Mia, who asks, what are your other hobbies besides planning and art? I'm a big believer in sleep being a hobby, even though it super totally isn't, but I'm going to say sleep for one thing, mostly because I feel like I don't get enough of it, and the fact that as of the moment I'm like constantly tired. But outside of sleep, I enjoy playing Xbox, hanging out with friends, listening to music, all of that kind of stuff. I also really enjoy singing, even though I don't get a lot of time to do it when I'm not in the car or just at my desk belting things out by myself. What else do I like doing? Journaling is such a big part of my life, so really that is probably my main hobby, as you've probably correctly identified. I also really just like fiddling around in Excel. I know that doesn't sound like a fun thing to do for most people, but I really enjoy setting myself a challenge and then figuring out how to set up a formula to work that out in Excel. Usually that's in the form of making my budgeting spreadsheet better, or making mark books for my department, or things like that. That's something I enjoy doing too. I also love cooking, even though most of the time when it comes to cook in the evening, I'm just way too tired and over it. But I love cooking and baking and all of that fun stuff as well, mostly because I like eating. Eating's a hobby, right? I'm including eating in that list as well. So you can see that the layout that I've drawn up here is quite similar to last week, or this week. It's just that when it comes to the boxes at the bottom for the doodles, I've given myself about 2 squares less space, and I've made this black divider a bit bigger because I want to be able to write the title of the movie somewhere, and I figured it would be a good space up here to be able to do that. I'm now going to go in and lay down my washi tape and then colour in each of the sections I need to. Our next question comes from our serial question asker, Marluz, who says, what country is on the top of your countries I'd like to visit list? That's a tricky one. I think my all-time, must-go-to place is anywhere that I can see the Northern Lights. So is that Iceland? I'm pretty sure it's Iceland and stuff like that, right? So that would be number 1. Number 2 is probably the USA, just because I've never been there, and I'm really eager to see the differences between the US and here, and Australia, because that's where I used to live. Although I've already been to Japan before, I'm really eager to go back to Japan. And at some stage I would like to visit some parts of Europe, but I haven't really decided at this stage which parts in particular are on my top countries to visit list. For my washi tape today, I'm going to be using this metallic purple one. In terms of the colours that I'm going to be using now, I'm going to put black in the same space as I put black last week, and then I'm going to switch the blue and the purple for the pink, orange, and yellow, and vice versa. I also really liked having these kind of white divider lines between each of the colours here, so I'm going to do the same thing as well. This week with these side panels, I'm being a little bit more deliberate about where I'm putting the colour. I found that last week, one side I felt looked quite good, and the other side kind of looked a little bit sketchy and weird. So I wanted to try and make them a little bit more uniform, but still unique this week. Because last week I had 3 colours go up here, this week I've only got 2. I'm just going to do alternating blue, purple, blue, purple. Also, sorry last week for the horrible, like, scratchy pen noise at I think it was about 9:22 or something like that. Listening to that on playback, it sounded really horrible. Knowing my luck, I've probably done it again in this video by talking while I'm colouring in. Gosh, I'm being sloppy today. I'm going outside the lines on these top bars so often. I'm actually undecided if I want to colour this one in black just yet, so I might leave it, because I might end up doing something like a gradient effect like I did on this week. So, not too sure. Probably just going to leave that one there. Now to go put in my headers. I've actually quite been enjoying this serif font, and it's really easy to do, which is also quite nice. It's just adding those little flicks at the end of any kind of straight line. Oh, also, as a side note, if you guys haven't checked out my giveaway over on Instagram, where you can win, let me get it, this Dingbats notebook, do make sure that you jump over there and check it out. I'm going to be moving into a Dingbats come mid-year because this journal's getting a little bit close to the end. So this one's going to be my next one. Well, not this one. This is the one for the giveaway, but one that looks like this. Now with my S-size Pit Artist pen, just to add Now with my S-size Pit Artist pen, just going to go add in some of the events that I have coming up next week. Throwing back to our first question for the day, my question for you, what are the things that you guys like to do outside of planning and art? As I mentioned, I have a couple of other genuine hobbies, along with eating and sleep, but I always like to find out what other people like to do in their spare time. Thank you for watching. If you liked today's video, feel free to go check out another one. Until next time, bye!